We are HUR, or the Hanse Urban Regeneration. Our group consists of Martijn, Nick, Femke, Maria and Thomas. In today's video presentation, we're going to talk about how and if the sustainable adaptations are added value in terms of livability for the residents of HafenCity. First, we need to know a bit more about HafenCity. HafenCity is a large urban development project located in the Elbe River in Hamburg, Germany, and is formed by several river islands of the Elbe. It is a redevelopment of a former industrial area in the city of Hamburg. The project was first proposed in 1997 and began construction in 2003. It is expected to be completed by 2025 with the goal of creating a new and vibrant urban center in the city. The project includes the construction of new residential, commercial and cultural buildings. It also includes the restoration of historic buildings and creation of public spaces. The North Sea flood of 1962 was a devastating natural disaster that occurred in Germany, but also Hamburg. On February 16, 1962, a severe storm caused the Elbe River to swell to record levels, resulting in a catastrophic flood that caused significant destruction, with an estimated 10,000 homes destroyed and another 200,000 damaged. In addition, the floodwaters caused extensive damage to infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and railways. The flood affected an estimated 300,000 people and caused an estimated of $1.5 billion in damage. Not wanting another disaster like 1962, where Hamburg and much of Germany's coastline was underwater, Hamburg and the Haven City have put into adaptations to stop the destruction from happening again. After the disaster, it was decided to invest a lot of money in new dikes and storm surge barriers. Hamburg built a 100-kilometer long levee that is at least 7.2 meters above normal levels. New dikes are also being built along the coast. These were the first adjustment made to hold back the water. Haven City has come up with a very different way to deal with flooding. Indeed, the water level can rise as much as 8 meters in times when there is a flood. So when this happens, the water comes out of the canals and floods most of Haven City. A lot of adaptations and solutions are needed to keep the city livable for the inhabitants. A few adaptations that Haven City has made are, for example, the city has elevated bridges and public spaces that are 8 meters above the water level that are still usable in times of flooding. The canals in Haven City are much deeper than usual to ensure that the streets are not so quickly and completely flooded. The buildings that are in flood places have aluminum plates for the doors and windows that can be closed in times of flooding. This then stops the water from damaging the building. The windows and doors that do not have plates in front of them are all made of aquarium graded glass, so the water cannot do any damage to them either. And there are floating walkways that move with the water level so they can always be used. There are so many solutions that help Haven City well against flooding, and what helps visitors and residents to keep the city livable. But faced with the evolving challenges, the Hamburg flood prevention is still ongoing. The city expects to invest up to €1 billion in new protections over the next 50 years. Safety. In the interviews, we asked people in Haven City about the floods, if they feel safe when the floods are ongoing, and if they think there must be more measures in the future. Everyone we interviewed knew about the floods. A 40-year couple was asked what happens when there is high tide and a flood. They responded, Yes, then there is a company that closes them. In our house, there is only one floodgate, and then a company comes and closes it when there is a flood warning. In the following questions, they are asked if they feel restricted and unsafe during the floodings. They respond with, "No, because we can still get out to the street here. It's only on to the front, and here it stays open, and it doesn't bother us at all." And this is a common answer to these kind of questions. It is part of Haven City, and the measures are safe, and you are not closed in. A 50-year-old who doesn't live in Haven City but nearby was asked if he knew what the doors were for. He knew they were for the floods. So even for people who don't live in Apart Haven from the City or safety, we Hamburg, also know ask that it can people be in flooded Haven City sometimes. about livability, because a flood is not nothing. The thing they did mention was the shortage in greenery on the streets. Just a few quotes from the interviews. "It is not a bad thing to have more green in the city," or "It is very gray in Hafen City," or "In another arm of the Elbe you can still see green spaces. In this area it is not the case." So these people all think there should be more greenery in Haven City. This is difficult because of the floods. You cannot place nice gardens and planters near the water or in certain streets because they will be destroyed by the floods. Haven City has to be more creative with this. The people of Haven City are aware of the floods. Despite the danger of flooding, they feel safe because of the measures taken by the principality. Same goes for livability. The floods don't affect it. However, the lack of green does affect the livability. The interviewed people call Haven City the grey city. They find it a pressing matter that more greenery is added. Looking at the historical data, the floods are getting higher. They went from 5 meters up to 6 meters in water level height. Hamburg has always put measures in place, adding to the protective flood defenses over the years. This means prevention of flooding. The people know that the floods are a part of their lives in Haven City and Hamburg. They know when to expect a flood. With this knowledge, they can prepare how it changes their routines and can act accordingly. It is just a part of Haven City, and you learn to deal with it.